The mental revolution. Why presence is your most disruptive professional weapon. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I want to begin by acknowledging the extraordinary individual whose insights have fundamentally reshaped my understanding of professional success. I recently had the privilege of interviewing Theodora Lai for the Soft Girl Era podcast, a visionary whose work has quietly ignited a revolution in how we approach leadership, entrepreneurship, and personal effectiveness. For those who haven't encountered her transformative work, Theodora is more than just a successful leader. She is a paradigm shifter whose methodologies have liberated countless young professionals from the prison of their own racing thoughts. Through her groundbreaking work with the Singapore Valley Awards, she has created pathways not just for career advancement, but for a fundamentally different way of existing in our professional spaces. Her impact extends far beyond the individual she directly mentors. She is systematically dismantling the toxic productivity culture that has dominated our workplaces for decades. What struck me most during our conversation wasn't just Theodora's impressive accomplishments, but the radically counterintuitive approach that made them possible. Today, I want to challenge everything you think you know about achievement, success, and professional excellence. Here's the uncomfortable truth: the greatest competitive advantage in today's hyper-connected, always on world isn't working harder, moving faster, or doing more. It's the ability to be fully present. Mental presence, the capacity to quiet racing thoughts and focus completely on what's in front of you, isn't just a nice to have wellness practice. It's the foundation of exceptional leadership, innovation, and impact. This idea is dangerous. It threatens the very foundation of how we've been conditioned to think about success. We've been sold a destructive myth that achievement comes from constant motion, from filling every moment with productivity, from the relentless pursuit of more. But what if that conventional wisdom is exactly what's holding us back? What if our obsession with doing more is precisely what prevents us from doing what matters? Let me take you inside Theodora Lai's revolutionary work with the Singapore Valley Awards. As the leader of this nonprofit organization, Theodora has created a program that provides overseas internship positions for young aspiring entrepreneurs. But the program does something far more profound than simply placing young people in jobs. Young entrepreneurs face a unique challenge. They're often paralyzed by racing thoughts, crippling uncertainty, and the overwhelming pressure to succeed in building their futures. This is especially true when seeking international opportunities. The mental noise becomes deafening, creating a kind of internal chaos that no amount of external opportunity can overcome. What makes Theodora's approach revolutionary is that she recognized this fundamental problem that no one was addressing. Instead of simply offering more resources, more connections, or more information, the typical approach, she created a structured program that first helps participants quiet their mental noise. Only then does the program focus on practical skill development through those overseas internships. The results have been nothing short of transformative. The Singapore Valley Awards has successfully placed numerous young entrepreneurs in valuable international positions. But more importantly, it's helped them channel their racing thoughts into productive action. By May 2025, the program had become a recognized platform for entrepreneurial development, reshaping how young professionals approach their journeys by emphasizing mindfulness alongside business acumen. This isn't just a nice story about one successful program. It represents a fundamental shift in how we understand professional development and success. I want you to really sit with this question. What if the greatest obstacle to your success isn't external competition, limited resources, or lack of opportunity? What if the greatest obstacle is the constant stream of racing thoughts in your own mind? This insight becomes even more powerful when we look at Theodora Lee Bingting's personal leadership approach. Throughout her career bridging business, innovation, and impact, she's faced the same challenge that confronts all of us: professional environments that create mental clutter and distraction, preventing leaders from making their greatest impact. Her solution wasn't to work longer hours or to multitask more efficiently. Instead, she cultivated what she calls a problem solving mindset that allows her to cut through mental noise and focus on core challenges. This approach has positioned her as someone ready to lead the charge in her field, demonstrating how mental clarity translates directly to leadership effectiveness. Her accomplishments, including receiving the prestigious Lee Kuan Yew Award, highlight just how powerful this approach can be. But what's most striking is that her leadership style offers a model for all professionals seeking to harness racing thoughts into purposeful action. Now, I can hear the objections forming in your mind. That sounds wonderful, but my work environment is particularly demanding. Mental presence might work for entrepreneurs or certain leaders, but not in my high pressure field. This is where Theodore R. Lee's legal career provides such a compelling example. The legal profession is notorious for creating mental overwhelm, with attorneys often struggling to manage racing thoughts amid high stakes cases. Few professional environments are more demanding than a courtroom, where split second decisions can determine outcomes with enormous consequences. Yet, throughout her extensive legal career in California, practicing before all state and federal courts, Theodora has developed techniques to maintain presence and mental clarity in these high pressure environments. Her courtroom success demonstrates how mental presence can be a competitive advantage in even the most demanding professional settings. Throughout her career, she has refined her approach to managing mental challenges while handling complex employment related regulatory matters. Her established reputation as a respected legal professional with recognized expertise in employment law provides a powerful example of how managing racing thoughts can lead to professional excellence in demanding fields. So, what does this mean for you? How can you apply this counterintuitive wisdom to your own professional journey? First, we need to recognize that our culture's obsession with constant productivity is fundamentally misguided. The assumption that more activity equals more achievement is not just wrong, it's actively harmful. When we fill every moment with tasks, emails, meetings, and planning, we leave no space for the deep thinking and mental clarity that produce our most valuable contributions. Think about it. When did your best ideas come to you? Was it during your busiest, most frantic moments? Or did they emerge during moments of relative calm, perhaps in the shower, on a walk, or just after waking up? Innovation and insight require mental space. They emerge from presence, not from frantic activity. Second, we need to understand that managing racing thoughts isn't just about reducing stress or improving well being, though those are wonderful benefits. It's about dramatically enhancing our effectiveness. When we're mentally present, we make better decisions. We communicate more clearly. We notice opportunities that would otherwise pass us by. We connect more authentically with colleagues and clients. In essence, mental presence is a professional superpower hiding in plain sight. Third, and perhaps most importantly, we need to recognize that this capacity for presence isn't fixed. It's a skill that can be developed with practice. Just as we can strengthen a muscle through consistent training, we can strengthen our capacity for mental presence through deliberate practice. This is what makes Theodora's work so revolutionary. She's demonstrating that mindfulness isn't just a personal wellness practice, it's a professional skill that can be taught, learned, and mastered. And when it is, the results are transformative. Now, I want to be clear about something. I'm not suggesting that you need to add one more thing to your already overwhelming to do list. I'm not saying you need to meditate for an hour each morning or attend silent retreats or master some complex mental discipline. The beauty of this approach is its simplicity. Mental presence begins with a single breath. It begins with noticing when your mind is racing and gently bringing your attention back to what's right in front of you. It begins with creating small pockets of space in your day, perhaps just 5 minutes, where you allow yourself to simply be present without trying to accomplish anything. These small practices, consistently applied, create a foundation for the kind of presence that transforms professional effectiveness. I'd like to leave you with a question that emerged from my conversation with Theodora, a question that has the power to shift your entire professional trajectory if you take it seriously. What one racing thought, if challenged and transformed, could completely change the trajectory of your professional journey? I invite you to identify that thought, question it deeply, and experiment with a new perspective for just 1 week. What possibilities might open up when you create that mental space? As the brilliant poet and civil rights activist Maya Angelou once said, you can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. I believe the same is true of mental presence. The more we practice it, the more available it becomes to us. And as it becomes more available, our capacity for innovation, leadership, and impact expands exponentially. The most powerful affirmation I've learned from studying Theodora's approach is this: my presence is my power. Try saying that to yourself each morning. My presence is my power. Notice how it shifts your approach to the day ahead. Let me be absolutely clear. What I'm proposing today is not just another self improvement technique, it is a direct challenge to the fundamental assumptions that drive our professional culture. It is an invitation to rebellion. In a world screaming at you to do more, I'm challenging you to be more. In a culture that measures value by output, I'm inviting you to measure value by presence. In the system designed to keep your mind constantly racing, I'm urging you to find the revolutionary power of stillness. This is not about becoming more productive, it's about becoming more powerful. It's about reclaiming your mind from a system that profits from your distraction. It's about discovering that your greatest professional asset isn't your ability to do more things, but your capacity to be fully present with the one thing right in front of you. Today, I'm asking you to make a radical choice. For the next 7 days, commit to creating just 10 minutes of complete mental presence in your workday, not to become more productive, not to reduce stress, but to discover what becomes possible when you reclaim ownership of your attention. The quiet revolution that Theodora has ignited isn't just changing how individuals work, it's challenging the very foundations of how we define professional success. And it begins with a single radical act, the decision to be fully present in this moment right now. Will you join us